All right, hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of the Regular Guys Daily NBA DFS Fantasy Show. I am David. Welcome to the dungeon, and we are back now after a couple of days of just single games, and very excited for the playoffs here to get going. Looking very forward to this. Lineups are going to be a lot more straightforward, I think. We don't have to worry about if someone's going to sit somebody 2 minutes before lock. So very excited for the playoffs. I think most days we're like today we got 4 games, and I think that's probably going to be the most that we get during the playoffs. I think we're going to have a lot of 2 and 3 game nights, but anyway, it's good to get back into it here um, with the full run of games. As full run as we can have any for the playoffs instead of just having. I'm not a big showdown player. I never have been. It's just really not my thing. Stressing over which scrub to put as a captain and hoping that he has a big game just really hasn't been never that appealing to me. So glad to get back to it here on a regular type slate here on DraftKings. Before I get started with today's pick six, guys, if you don't mind, I would really appreciate it if you would hit that like button down below. I'd also appreciate if you'd hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell. That way you get notified every time we do put up new videos. We're going to start increasing our videos as our channel grows here. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get as much content out as we can to help you guys, be successful and make a profit, make some money here playing NBA DFS. That's the whole point of this. That's why I do it. And again, I'm living proof that you can make money, sometimes significant money, playing NBA DFS, and you don't have to have, you don't have to be a professional player. So anyway, that's why I'm putting the videos out. Hopefully, you guys are getting something out of this. We have some up days, we have some down days. That's NBA DFS. If I had a crystal ball, I wouldn't be making these videos because I'd be living in Vegas with a mansion somewhere. But we had a really good regular season NBA. We certainly made a profit, and let's hope to continue that into the playoffs. I do want to mention one thing before I get started. Guys, I've never used. If you're familiar, there's a lot of people building lineups, and it's the guys we're competing against. They're cranking out 150 lineups a day, dedicating 8-9 hours a day to projections and stuff like that, and are using optimizers. I've never used an optimizer. I don't think it's absolutely necessary. However, if you were ever going to use one and wanted to try one during the playoffs, I want you to check out my friends over at City Atlantic. It's at City Atlantic, Analytic, excuse me, at City Analytic. I could pull their website up here, but check them out on Twitter at City Analytic DFS. And they've got an optimizer out, guys, that has really produced some decent results. And one of the reasons I haven't really got into optimizers, and because you got to pay for them, and some of these places you got to pay 30, 40, 50 bucks a month on some Patreon sites and stuff like that. And I'm just not going to do that. But at the end of the day, if we can find tools that help us and make this easier and give us better chances to cash in these NBA DFS tournaments, why wouldn't we use them? And the only reason I'm bringing these guys up is because I've been following them for a while. They're getting some good results. They're hardworking guys. They get good results with their optimizer, and they don't charge an arm and a leg for it. Yes, you do still have to pay, but I think it's like $2.99 or $3.99 a week. I mean, if you were ever going to pay for an optimizer, and I'm not saying go out and pay for one, I'm just saying that if you ever thought about it, we're going to check into it. Check out the guys at City Analytic. I know they're hardworking guys and have had some good results. But anyway, let's get into today's pick six, doing it the old-fashioned way, building them the way we've had some success, and that is by hand. So, a lot of studs today, guys. It's very interesting on a 4-game slate. We have so many spend-up options for only 4 games, and once we get to the playoffs now, there's not going to be a ton of value. Certainly not very much standout value. You're not going to find that guy that's starting because 2 other guys are injured and he only costs $3,200 on DraftKings. So looking for value to get as many of these big time players in. That's going to be the key throughout the entire playoffs. So I've really kind of labored on this morning, and that's why I'm a little later getting this video out than I wanted it to be. I'd like to have them out on a 1 o'clock lock, or a, what is it, noon lock today. I'd like to have them out much earlier than this. I'm going to work on that tomorrow, but I've been doing some research and I've been grinding on this a little bit. But anyway, let's get into it. I know you guys don't want to take up all your time today. What stud options are we going to go to for this pick six, for this lineup, and the way it built out? I had Giannis in here, and I think Giannis to me is the most expensive guy in the slate. It's not a great matchup with Miami, but Giannis is pretty much matchup proof. We know he's going to play big minutes. We know he has a chance to put up huge numbers. So it's kind of a tough decision, but the big stud that I landed on, I can't resist the matchup, is I'm going to start today's pick six with Nikola Jokic. I know that's not getting very different. I know he's going to be very popular today, but we're only going to have to be different in a couple of spots and hope those guys produce. You know, guys, during the regular season, we're looking for ways to get way different, because we have so many different lineup options, so many different value options usually. We need to keep our lineups really a little more straightforward here and just hope that we can find a guy here or there, without getting too cute. We don't want to get way too cute here during the playoffs because it just isn't going to be profitable. So I'm going to start the pick six, with the second most expensive stud on the slate. I don't have to sit here and tell you why Jokic is a good play, but I will tell you why I landed on him over Giannis. Excuse me. I can't resist this matchup. I need some more morning coffee, guys. Portland has just been horrible They're not a great defensive team anyway, but they have really struggled, much like another team we're going to talk about here in just a second, defending bigs this year. And Jokic, I don't see any reason why he shouldn't just have his way. And we all know if Jokic is on, if he has a big game, we know he can pop off for 70, 80 fantasy points any night. So I'm going to take Jokic over Giannis on this pick six and go from there. The next stud that we're going to try and fit in here, coming off a huge game in the playoff game. And again, it's the same type of deal that we're doing with Denver against Portland. I love targeting bigs against Brooklyn. I actually think Brooklyn is going to play better defense in the playoffs. They haven't played defense all year, but this big three has only played like 7 or 8 games together the whole year. And that's why none of these three are in my lineup in the pick six for today. It's tough to choose. And you're paying big money for all three of them. Kevin Durant at 97. I think Harden is like over 10K. Kyrie's right around 10K, I think. And at that price, I need at least 50 out of you. And really, I need 60 or 65. And it's just hard to tell which one of those guys is going to have the big game. You can take a swing on him. But anyway, for this pick six, I'm going to go right back to Jason Tatum in the power forward position. It makes me a little nervous because generally guys coming off 50-point games, I don't expect him to have another 50-point game. But the fact of the matter is, Brooklyn has struggled to defend bigs all year, and Blake Griffin and Nicholas Claxton aren't going to provide any kind of resistance. Now, I think Kevin Durant can be a decent defender. Will he be a decent defender in the first game of the playoffs, and will he commit to playing lockdown defense on Jason Tatum? I very much doubt that. I just don't think. I think Brooklyn can play good enough defense to win a championship, but I don't think they're going to come out and try and lock you down night to night like Phoenix does, or Utah or somebody like that. So I think Jason Tatum is a great matchup against Brooklyn, and we're going to keep trying to ride the hot hand. As long as Jaylen Brown is out, really Tatum and Kemba Walker any night can be really, really, really productive guys. So we're going to keep it going here. I don't think Boston's going to win this series. I'm not sure if they're going to win a game, but I think Jason Tatum could have some big games against, again, these Brooklyn defenders down low. So, having said that, now we've got 2 studs in. Yeah, we all want to jam another one in, right? And This is a guy that I haven't played that many Clippers all year, especially when Kawhi and PG were healthy together. It's kind of like they split, who was going to have a decent game. Nobody really ever went off for huge games like we saw guys like Luka and Harden and those guys. And quite frankly, Kawhi Leonard just hasn't played like with a lot of effort. It hasn't seemed like lately down the stretch. They pretty much knew where they were in the playoffs. So, but if you know anything about the NBA, and I know you guys do, playoff Kawhi is much different than regular season Kawhi. Playoff Kawhi locks in. He has a tendency to try and take over games, which he's very good at. He single-handedly got Toronto a championship. But the main reason that I'm going to put him in here is this price tag. I think $8K is way too cheap for Kawhi Leonard when we're getting playoff Kawhi. And I'm counting on getting playoff Kawhi today. A guy who plays big minutes, stays fully engaged on both ends of the floor. At times will take over the usage, can take over a game. And Dallas isn't a great defensive team. I kind of have a battle between Kawhi and Luka forming in my head where they just kind of go back and forth. Now, again, that guy could also be Paul George. But we all know, I think Paul George gets a little bit of a bad playoff rap. But anyway, he hasn't been great in the big playoff games. This is the type of playoff game one of the series on a Saturday afternoon. This is the kind of game that, I wouldn't be surprised me if Paul George had a good one. But just because of the price, guys, I'm going to play Kawhi Leonard at 8K. So now we got to start looking for our value. We have to make the lineup work. The first guy I'm going to go to is in the guard position. He's not somebody I tend to roster during the regular season, especially when the team is fully healthy. But I don't mind Kendrick Nunn at 4,800 today. And I'll tell you why. He's been starting. He should start today. I'm quite sure he's going to start today, and he should get pretty big minutes. Again, these teams are tightening down their rotations, so I expect anywhere from 33 to maybe 36 minutes from Kendrick Nunn. Obviously, Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo are probably going to dominate the usage, but I also don't mind a couple of fringe pieces like Nunn and Duncan Robinson. If Duncan Robinson, he's a guy you kind of take a flyer on. If he gets hot, he can go for 40, 45 fantasy points. He's just really scoring dependent. So does he get the shots and does he knock them down? So I don't mind a guy like that. But I think Kendrick Nunn is a pretty good play here today because, again, I think he's going to be the main point guard. Him and Dragic will be switching off, but they'll be on the floor together. And, again, I think he should get enough minutes that he can be productive enough to pay off basically this 5K price tag. I need 25 to get 5X pretty much out of Kendrick Nunn, and I think he can do that in 35 to 36 minutes. Hopefully he plays that many. He can get 25 to 32, 33 fantasy points, so that's good enough for his price tag to get to cash in a lineup here. So Kendrick Nunn is one of them. The other guy, I really like this guy today, actually. I'm going to just click over to make it easier. He hasn't been playing a lot of minutes lately, but again, now that it's the playoffs, I like Serge Ibaka today, and I like him better than Ivica Zubac. If we look at his game log, it kind of tells a little bit of a story. He's been dealing with injury and coming back from injury, and as he was coming back, he wasn't playing very big minutes, and Zubac, he was splitting him pretty much with Zubac the whole time. And even the last two games, 19 and 17, again, the Clippers weren't really playing for anything. Well, they were playing to avoid playing the Lakers. So when you're intentionally trying to lose, guys like Serge Ibaka are going to get less minutes. You don't want your best players on the floor. But I think Ibaka is more productive than Zubac, and I think in the playoffs he's going to get more of the minutes. And I actually expect 24 to 28, maybe even 30 minutes from Serge Ibaka. And at 4,500, if he gets those kind of minutes, he certainly can be productive enough to pay off that price tag. He can get you 36 to 40 fantasy points if he gets, somewhere around the 24-minute or higher mark. So I really like Serge Ibaka as a bit of a value play. I'm just going to tell you this too. If you're looking for value today, because we don't have the standout, the center position is where I'm going to look in this lineup, and if I put in a second lineup, I don't mind guys like Dwight Powell, Nicholas Claxton. I don't know how many minutes Blake Griffin is going to play. Probably a little more in the regular season, but like Brooklyn, I don't know if they're going to be giving many minutes to anybody besides Claxton. And sometimes they move Jeff Green down to center, but uh, who am I thinking of? DeAndre Jordan really has kind of just been faded out of the lineup. So anyway, as you build your lineups today, if you decide to go with some different studs and you want some stuff in different spots, I get it. But look at the center position for some decent value today, particularly Dallas. We're going with Ibaka here. And like I said, I don't really mind Nicholas Claxton either. They're not going to get you huge fantasy points. You'll be lucky if you get 25 minutes, but they're usable value. And that's what we're trying to find now, that we don't have the obvious value like we did in the regular season. We're trying to find usable value. So anyway, I'm taking up too much of your time here, guys. The last guy I'm going to give you, I always take a flyer. You know I do, generally in a lot of lineups. And here's a guy that I like if Austin Rivers doesn't play. I don't expect Austin Rivers to play tonight. And if he does not, with Will Barton still out, not able to play game one, I am going to look towards Marcus Howard from Denver. He got a lot of minutes in the last two games, in the meaningless games when Denver wasn't playing their starters very much. And so we can't really base how many minutes he'll get off of our game log for the last two games. However, he was much more productive when he did get minutes than Monte Morris. And if Austin Rivers doesn't play, I think it's going to mainly be Howard and Morris splitting up those minutes. And hopefully, I'm just taking a flyer here, guys. Hopefully, Howard will get more of those minutes because he's been more productive with his minutes than Morris in the past. And that's what I'm banking on. You can still play him if Austin Rivers plays, but now we're kind of splitting up those minutes between three guys. But again, Howard was really productive when he got minutes. Hopefully that vaults him like a little bit ahead of Monte Morris when they start going to the bench for the guards. And again, we really, really need Austin Rivers to not play. So that's the pick six today, guys. I hope I didn't go too long here. Again, I'll try and start getting these videos out earlier in the day since we don't have to sit around and wait for value all day to say, oh, is this guy in, this guy out? So if you like these videos, if you're getting anything out of them, I would appreciate it if you would, again, hit that like button down below, hit the subscribe button, the notification bell. Follow me at SandoDFS on Twitter. We're going to do a playoff retweet contest and comment contest for the playoffs like we did at the end of the regular season. $25 in PayPal, DK or NBA DFS dollars, wherever the hell you want to spend it. I don't care. $25. If you retweet the post that I put out that has the link to this video, you're automatically entered. And if you leave any kind of a comment down below, you're automatically entered. I don't care what you leave. Hey, you suck. Stop doing this. You're ugly. Or, hey, I like a few of these picks. We've made a little bit of money. Keep doing what you're doing. Anything. I don't care what you put down there. We're going to enter you into the contest for the playoffs for 25 DFS dollars. So that's it today, guys. That's the pick six. Good luck to all of you. Good luck to all of us. And I will see you tomorrow, hopefully a little bit earlier. Good luck today, guys.